I'm Dr. SCL. I'm a dad, a chiropractor, and the translator you didn't know you needed in this, the first year of parenting. This is Decoded, the first year, the podcast that turns baby brain confusion, mum burnout, and milestone panic into clarity you can actually use. Let's make sense of the chaos by decoding it together. You're doing all the things, the toys, the tummy time, the music, the contrast cards, the play mats. You're engaging, you're interacting, you're trying to give your baby every possible advantage. And still there's this quiet thought in the background. Is it enough? Should I be doing more? Am I missing something that other mums aren't? And here's what I want to shift for you gently, but very clearly. Because when we look at early development through a nervous system lens, the question is rarely, am I doing enough? And it's far more often, is my baby getting the chance to actually process what I'm already giving them? Because more input doesn't automatically mean better development. And in many cases, it actually does the opposite. Today, we're going to unpack and decode why less input often leads to better integration, and why some of the most well-intentioned things we do as parents can quietly interfere with how the nervous system learns to organize itself. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because no one explained how this actually works. So there's a quiet fear I hear from parents all the time. What if I'm not doing enough? What if I'm understimulating my baby? What if everyone else is giving their baby more, and as a result, I'm falling behind? And I want to say this clearly, calmly, and without drama. Most babies are not understimulated. They're actually overloaded. And when we look at development through a nervous system lens, particularly primitive reflex integration, this makes complete sense. Primitive reflexes are not learned skills. They're automatic neurological patterns that help the brain and body organize themselves through movement, gravity, and sensation. They integrate not because we activate them, but because the nervous system gets clear, repeatable, manageable input. This is where modern parenting often goes sideways. We live in a culture that equates stimulation with progress. More toys, more activities, more practice. But the nervous system doesn't integrate reflexes through quantity. It integrates through processing, and processing requires space. When a baby is surrounded by constant noise, visual clutter, rapid changes, and novelty, their nervous system is working overtime just to filter information, not organize it. Think of reflex integration like learning a language. If I speak to you slowly, clearly, and repeat key phrases, your brain starts to recognize patterns. If I shout 5 languages at you at once, nothing integrates. That's what overstimulation does to a baby's nervous system. Let's ground this in reflexes. Now, take the Moro reflex, the startle response. A baby with a sensitive or easily triggered Moro isn't dramatic or high needs. Their nervous system is saying, I'm getting more input than I can organize. Now, add constant movement, bouncing, toy switching, background noise, and visual stimulation. The Moro doesn't get the conditions it needs to integrate, not because something is wrong, but because the system never gets to settle. Think of the ATNR. The ATNR integrates through repeated symmetrical movement, turning the head, bringing hands to midline, pushing evenly through both sides of the body. If a baby is constantly repositioned, distracted, or entertained, they lose the opportunity to repeat those patterns. And repetition is how the nervous system learns. This is why I say, gently but firmly, more input can delay integration. Not always, not dramatically, but subtly. And subtle delays compound. So what does support reflex integration? Not fancy equipment, not expensive toys, not complicated games and programs. 3 things, and they cost nothing. Number 1, floor time. Unrestricted, unhurried floor time allows reflexes to express, to organise, and to integrate naturally. When a baby lies, rolls, reaches, pivots, pushes on the floor, the nervous system is receiving clean feedback from gravity, pressure, and symmetrical movement. That feedback is golden. Secondly, repetition. Not drills or forced practice, but letting a baby repeat the same movement again and again until it becomes efficient. This is how reflexes step back and voluntary control steps forward. Repetition requires failure. We as parents all, and I'm guilty of this, struggle with seeing our children fail. But that's how they learn. And finally, quiet nervous system moments that allow the body to reset. You know, those moments without performance, without stimulation, without doing something. These pauses allow the nervous system to consolidate what's just been experienced. Integration doesn't always happen during movement. It all too often happens afterwards. This is where I want to relieve some pressure. You're not understimulating your baby. You're not missing something. And you don't need to fill every waking moment with input to support development. In fact, one of the most powerful things you can do is to offer your baby less, but less done well. Clear input, repeatable movement, a calm nervous system. That's not passive parenting. That's neurologically intelligent parenting. Next week, we're going to dismantle some of the myths that keep parents anxious about reflexes, their timelines, labels, and the idea that reflexes are something to fear. Because once you understand how reflex integration really works, you stop chasing milestones and you start building foundations that actually last. Mum, keep crushing it. Dr. SCL, out. Thanks for listening to Decoded, the first year, where we translate the mess of early parenting into something that actually makes sense. Be sure to share this episode with a friend, a partner, or a mum that you know who is quietly struggling through the noise and secretly Googling every milestone. If you want to hear more decoding, follow @Mount Hawthorne Chiropractic on the socials. Let's keep decoding the chaos. No mansplaining, no pressure, no judgment, just clarity when you need it most. Please note, this podcast isn't medical advice. It's just smart strategies from a Gonstead chiropractor, a dad, and someone who's been in the room with hundreds of mums trying to make sense of their baby's development, their own postpartum recovery, and the constant noise that comes with modern parenting. Always chat with your health team for specific care.